The Florida Student Athletic Association will be deciding whether or not to implement a rule change that requires and mandates all teenage girls who want to play sports in high school or middle school to report their monthly menstrual cycles.
In Florida, whistleblower Rebecca Jones is a name you may remember.
Police, come down now!
Do not point that gun at my children!
Rebecca.
He just pointed a gun at my children!
Stay right there. Just
Search
relax.
warrant. Calm down the stairs,
He's
sir.
pointing a gun at the stairs. There are children up there.
Jones led the effort to establish a public information portal that listed the number of coronavirus cases and deaths in the state of Florida.
She would say Governor Ron DeSantis, a man who has time and again downplayed the coronavirus, was responsible for the raid.
The state wants to make it mandatory, and they want to make it so that they can share this information across departments. This is a Ron DeSantis back move, supposedly to try to prevent trans students in high school athletics from playing sports. But if you're a female who played sports, then not that this should be relevant, you would know that sometimes your periods are irregular, and frankly, it's nobody's business. It is not the state of Florida's business when you have your period.
What I find particularly troubling is the supporters of small government and the vocal "they're infringing on our rights" subsection of American politics is suddenly in support of a potential bill that is intrusive and also scarring for young girls.
The questions for the menstrual cycle, it should be optional. It shouldn't be mandatory, because if you would feel uncomfortable to put that on a form that you don't know who that's going to end up with or how that's going to be treated, I don't think it should be mandatory. I think it's kind of weird.
High school student Amor Rodriguez speaks for the masses.
I mean, it's like kind of awkward to fill it out and knowing that someone else knows that stuff.
As did freshman Yavia Rodriguez. Per the Tampa Bay Times, a proposed draft of a physical education form in Florida could require all high school student athletes to disclose information regarding their menstrual history, a move that's already drawing pushback from opponents who say the measure would harm students.
The fact is that your period is not any of their business. So I'm dropping the information in the comments for who you can call, write, email to say that you disagree with this very sick and invasive rule change.
Jones would post on her Twitter, "Voice your concerns by contacting them directly. 1801 Northwest 80th Boulevard, Gainesville, Florida, 32606, and call them at 352-372-9551. The draft, published last month by the Florida High School Athletic Association, a group that oversees interscholastic athletic programs across the state, proposes making currently optional questions regarding a student's menstrual cycle mandatory, as reported by the Palm Beach Post.
Questions are optional, and they have been routine for about 2 decades. But today, 2 things are different. One, Roe v. Wade was overturned, and some states are looking to classify abortion as murder. And 2, many Florida schools are moving from paper forms to digital, and they've partnered with a new company called Activate. Activate is a public company, so Activate has to comply with subpoenas. You see where I'm going here? Activate legally can share your daughter's menstrual cycle with anybody, anyone, like the police, who might be nosing around about, say, an illegal abortion. Those police can subpoena your daughter's menstrual cycle. Talk about a violation of privacy.
The proposal involves adapting a form devised by the American Academy of Pediatrics and used in some other states, but with a critical difference. That form would have the detailed medical information stay in the custody of a student's physician, while the proposal before the FHSAA would entrust this information, including menstrual cycles, to the schools.
There's no need for it. It could be done another way, through the school board. We don't have to even go to a third-party system. And I'm worried about her future, of course, in regards to, like, what are they doing with that?
Dr. Tommy Shetman, a pediatrician and past president of the Florida chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics, told WPLG, "None of this, in my view, is important important for the athletic department, for the coach, or the state organization to have that information, and also I think goes beyond what HIPAA would normally allow. Certainly menstrual cycles can reflect other issues going on, but clearly that's something to be discussed between the patient, parent, and the physician, Sheckman would state.
So this is an anti-trans policy. Let's just be clear about that.
Per state statute, the Florida High School Athletic Association is the governing nonprofit organization of athletics at Florida public schools. Of the 16 board members, just 4 are women. One Miami Herald reporter caught up with a Miami Beach high school softball player. Speaking with one of their teammates, the athlete noted of the proposed new requirements, "I don't think it's their place to know what happens to me." "Why do they want to do it?" asked her friend. "Because they're transphobic," the softball player would respond.